What's up guys, Code51 here, time for another video, and this one is a special video because this wouldn't be possible without a certain YouTuber who translated this, Shadow of Chaos 725. So give a big shout outs to Ray, and please give him a big thank you on his channel or anything of any way that you can reach him. I think his Tumblr is probably the best way of doing it. But this video wouldn't be possible without him, so I wanted to give a big thank you to Ray and his I'm like translating this out of the just in his spare time. It's it's awesome because it gives us fans a quicker look at the game prior to its release here in the West, and it's awesome. Thank you so much, Shadow of Chaos 725 or Ray. I don't know which one you prefer, but you're awesome. And I'll have a link in the description below. Go check him out. Check out his stuff. He's got some awesome Fire Emblem stuff. Been a big fan of his for a while now, and I wanted to make this video because this is a introduction video for pretty much for people to get people excited for the game that's coming out in a couple weeks in Japan. So we get a really deeper look into the game before it comes out here in the West. So I wanted to just watch it through and tell you what I noticed during the trailer and what really stood out to me, especially since there's a lot in this trailer that isn't really explained. It's deeper in this trailer than you think. It's especially when you watch it over and over like I did. But let's get straight into it. But we're gonna see the Hoshido side and the north side. Now, another thing that I noticed really cool about this sort of imagery with the smoke and all that stuff is you'll notice that in the background you'll see chess pieces. So essentially, this is just a big giant chessboard. If you it's imaginary, but it's symbolizing the war between Nor and Hoshido, and the chess pieces and all of these characters that you see now, like Marx, Ryoma, and Leon and Takumi, are just chess pieces in this war between the mother of Ryoma. I can't remember her name exactly, and Ganon, especially essentially that's what's happening. So that's one thing I saw. So this scene right here, I'm not 100% sure what's happening exactly, but I think maybe this is sort of the first time maybe your avatar Kamui returns back to Hoshido, and Takumi is the first to see him. I've already established in a previous video that Takumi is, personality wise, he's the most Frederick. If you remember Frederick in Fire Emblem Awakening, he was very cautious of the avatar who was Robin, because he appeared in suspicious circumstances. So maybe this is sort of the same sort of deal with Kamui, and Takumi is just why have you returned? This is so weird. I don't trust you. That kind of feeling. It's the same as with Frederick. So maybe he's just preparing himself or stuff like that. So we see Leon riding up on a horse. We see this chamber or this area that I'm not 100% sure of, but we see Marx in it. This could be a section in the castle. It kind of has that familiar, that similar aesthetic of the stage. If you remember from the original trailer, the stage where you see Ganon on a seat and you see Aqua dancing and stuff like that. So I don't know 100% for certainty, but you see Ryoma, which looks like he's preparing for a battle of some kind with his sword on fire. So two stories simulating that. It's pretty much saying that there's two versions of the game, Byakuya and ANYA, Hoshido, Nor, that kind of stuff. So we see Aqua in the first time in this trailer, and she's swimming towards what looks like a portal of some kind. There's a lot of theories online. I'm not 100% sure, but these areas, the buildings and stuff like that look like the same as when in the original trailer, when it suddenly cut to the world. These look like Hoshido style buildings, maybe in the background. It's like a civilization. I'm not 100% sure, but Aqua seems to be swimming into what seems to be a portal. We'll touch on that later because there's another thing that happens. So keep this in mind, that Aqua swims through what seems to be a portal. Maybe it's got to do with dragon energy. I don't know, 100% sure, but we see that. See those buildings in the background, in the top, just it should be above my head essentially. but those look like the same buildings that were like in that portal area that Aqua was swimming towards. Like, it just seems like that. I don't know if it's 100%, like, it just looks like it because the buildings are bricks and Hoshido buildings aren't bricks. So I'm assuming that maybe it's got to do symbolizing with that. There's that. And this scene's really important. So a lot of people have already like speculated and stuff like that. People are saying it's Roma, but it's not. It's not Roma. Who it is actually is Roma's father and Mikoto's husband who gets attacked. Now, I speculate from this scene is that we don't know his name yet, but Mikoto's husband, Roma's father, is taking Kamui out for maybe a walk or a stroll, and they get ambushed by Nor, like the Nor side, and we see just him getting destroyed, killed, essentially, murdered, and like you can see from that eye level, like the camera pan is like first person. So we are looking through the protagonist's eyes or the avatar's eyes. Now, this trick has been used before. It's been used in Awakening because in Awakening you can't tell if you're a boy or a girl. So they do first person to hide that fact and make it so these cutscenes are interchangeable within each other without having to make unique cutscenes for each gender that you're playing and each hairstyle and stuff like that. But we could definitely see that it swerves quickly over to Ganon, who's killed the father and kidnaps you. And this starts off that you live with the Nor side of the family. Okay, this scene right here is really important because, like I said before, with Aqua going through that portal, Kamui goes through that portal as well. And if we have time, I'll quickly go into the commercial as well, because the commercial kind of extends this scene right here with Aqua going through the portal and Kamui going through the portal. This system right here is what's new, and it's absolutely like changes the game because it makes you rethink of how playing Fire Emblem, especially. Maybe not too much, but it's definitely a much more refined version of what was introduced into Awakening. It's essentially pairing. Like if you guys have played Awakening, the pairing system is that you have either the characters next to each other or together, and if they have a stronger like link or bond together, they'll do follow-up attacks and all these crazy stuff like guarding and stuff like that. Now, they've changed it so it's a lot more easier to understand. You've got two stances. So the one that's introduced in this one is the attack stance. The attack stance is side by side. So if they're next to each other, regardless of bonds or anything like that, they will always do a follow-up attack. Always. Absolutely. There's no luck involved. There's no bonding in between. Like in Awakening, where sometimes enemies don't, like friendlies don't follow-up attacks, but just because there's no bonds in between. Now it's always gonna be like that. But these are only for adjacent units. So just like in Awakening, it gives you like a bonus like attack and stuff like that. But this time it always gives you an attack, a follow-up. The thing about this is now enemies can also do that as well. So it adds an extra level of difficulty and kind of fairness as well, but it doesn't really matter. But it gives you an extra thing to think about when you're doing placements on the field, because the enemies can do it as well. So it means it's extra dangerous for your characters now. Now this is what this is a different sort of stance. It's called guard stance. Now this is the most important thing, especially if you have a healer or something like that. It just seems to make the best sort of response and for that sort of thing. So let's see. So in Awakening, before the predecessor, when you pair up like this, they count as one unit. Now enemies cannot do this. Essentially, enemies could not pair up together. Only you can pair up, and it was the easiest way of forming bonds because you're always guaranteed to get bonds that way. And it's pretty much just like you lose a unit, but you gain not a stronger unit, but a bond unit, because if they're like S or A or something like that, you get massive bonuses essentially. So the guard stance, it works in a different way. Okay, so it always this is a, if I can explain it really well, you have your main unit that's active, your active unit, let's call it active unit, and your paired up unit, your defensive unit. And when enemies do the same thing, in which they do like an attack stance against a defense stance unit, the defense stance second character will always block that other the other units, the enemy units' additional attack. So the first attack will always hit, but the second attack will always be blocked, essentially. So it could be a lifesaver in a few situations. Now, another mechanic that's sort of like environmental, we've seen it in a lot of the trailers, but we didn't really understand it, but it's called the Dragon's Vein, and it actually plays into the story. The Dragon's Vein is when those with royal blood can activate these special abilities that change the tide of war, or change the environment. So we see here that Camilla dries up this lake so that you can just cross it without having to cross the bridge. But it's only for royal blood. So this raises a question: why does Kamui have this power as well? So that must mean he's part of the royal blood as well, right? Or the royal family. So it's questions we don't know yet. I want to hear in the comments below what you guys think this is. Like, to me, I think it looks like a werewolf. Like, it kind of fits the aesthetic a little bit, but like, I think it's a werewolf. Like, what do you guys think in the comments below? Like, comment below, tell me what you think, because I think that's a werewolf. Like, straight up, it looks really cool. It's a good design for a werewolf. Big, muscly. Like, the bond system's still there. Like, it's not... I think the bond system just gives you a better chance of criticals from that looks like it. Right. So, this is where I'm not 100% sure, but in this side, you're playing as Hoshido, but you've got a Dark Blade that looks the same as Marx's Dark Blade. Like not like exactly, but it does have that flame. Now, this is cool. This area right here is the one that was in the first trailer with Aqua dancing. So that's pretty cool. So these are Hoshido soldiers, but it looks like a berserker. That looks really cool. Kamui's like, whoa, whoa, and then Byakuya's like, whoa, 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 what? Like, it's kind of like question marks and stuff like that. So you see Ryoma and the Hoshido army. Kamui looks like he's faced with like a situation in which he can't ignore. Maybe Aqua's in danger or something like that. So we see Garon look like he's activating something like a spell. No, he's using Garon's sword. Maybe he's executing. So I think this scene is he's executing Roma's dad. Like straight up, like you're seeing Roma's dad and he's just executing him on the spot. And then there's a big explosion that looks like it's dark magic attacking a village and destroying it. We see Mikoto, we see Takumi, see Leon. Now, this scene right here is so important because I think it links up with the portals that we saw in the introduction trailer with Aqua swimming towards it, and then we see Kamui swimming towards it. Now, I have a good theory about this one. I think this is the first time that Kamui transforms, and he doesn't understand his power. So Kamui is just confused, and he's angry, and he lashes out at Aqua, who's the only one there. So maybe Aqua's singing calms down Kamui's transformation into this dragon beast or something like that. So that's what I think. I think this is Kamui's first transformation sequence, and he doesn't understand what's going on, and he's in this sort of like this world, like outside dragon, like maybe dragon energy world, and that's what gives him the power to transform. So that's it. I think that's it for me about these two sort of trailers. I see a lot of cool, interesting things, and it's awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a nice day. Koi51 out. See you later.